That's about all I wanted. See, so I'd rather not use the energy of doing this manually, and I do want it not quite where I want it because I need some of this excess gravel for my next post settings, unless I go find some that's more decomposed that packs better. But now I can obviously back my vehicle up, and then let's take a look at the machine that I end up using a lot for that kind of stuff. It's just basically a 5-inch channel iron to 3-inch channel iron to a pinion point where the tip rollers used to be. You shouldn't modify your machine. This here bar basically just lifts off of these washers, and then you impact it on in another position. Sorry about the camera work. If you need to rip, like if you want to pull out organics or something like that, and then those teeth rip, and then you take that back off and then you grade. It does a nice job of just flattening stuff. You know, I mean, it just flattens, and then because it's generally not too heavy, it doesn't overly compact if you don't make traffic lines on every bit of it. I don't know if this will work for you, but for me, this has been a useful addition. I rarely mow with it. I skip trailers around. I'll run the fertilizer spreader once in a while. I'll run the aerator head on the back. Sometimes put a winch onto it and then help with a tree felling or something like that. But or I pull around my cement mixer, things like that. So anyway, I've often thought about taking the deck off and making the machine somewhat shorter, since I don't mow with it very much, if at all. And the benefit there would be if you wanted to put a mid mounted grader blade, you know what I mean, or other tools or utility. You could do a lot with these machines. And then if you could suck those front wheels back in, because you don't have a mower deck there, obviously, then you could create a small structure for a small loader bucket on the front. And yeah, you're going to have problems when you put mass on the front as far as how it would affect those wheels as far as pivoting. But to do it hydraulically anyways, I think if you got a wood splitter pump and you made a coupling that tagged onto the top of these shafts, and then ran a separate system instead of the system for hydrostat drive, where it only has hydraulic pressure when your arms tip the swash plate, the washer. See, so when this arm tips that lever, it tips a plate, and then there's a cassette of pistons that were running around like this and not creating any pressure. But when you tip that plate, then the pistons closest to my knuckles, then they are pressing hydraulic fluid out. And then conversely, if it was tipped the other way, then the pistons where my fingernails, you know, within this body of this pump would be pressing hydraulic fluid the other way. So you can't use the hydrostat system for lifting and lowering. You could use electric if you wanted to, or you could, like I say, put a smaller pump up here that's for a dedicated system that creates pressure all the time but diverts to a bypass. It's a different type, so it's a closed loop, open loop, whatever it is, I don't know. All right, y'all have a good day. Good morning. So a gravel pile ends up in my way. Didn't really think ahead, I guess. Had a lot going on, but anyway, could just gravel, you know, I could rake it out, I could do all that, but I got a lot of lawns to do, and I would rather do this the easy way because I need my toolbox. In essence, it's got everything I need for doing the rest of the fence line. I'm going to do it the easy way. So watch this and see if it's something that helps for you guys in your day-to-day. It's very cheap machine to structure for this. Hang on.